What do you love so much that you want to make it better? What keeps you up late at night, maybe making you feel anxious, but also empowers you to wake up each morning? Maybe it's a passion for mental health initiatives, a sport, an organization you're a part of. Mine is country music. I promise you, I know just how random that is, but it is my thing. If the decor wasn't enough proof, here are some photos of me with some of my favorite country artists. It has been such an important part of my life and my healing journey with mental health issues. And so I feel like the least I can do is try and make it a safer space for other people. I want more people to be able to feel the love of country music by breaking down the systems of sexism, racism, and so many other forms of hate that surround it. I love it so much because it made me better, so my way of giving back to it is to do all that I can to make it better. I've had depression and anxiety since I was about 13, but like so many people, I found my joy in music, specifically Taylor Swift, and she directed me to a whole genre, country music, built on storytelling about love and death and disappointment, and it made me feel that the very raw and deep range of emotions that I was feeling were not so far-fetched and isolating. I believe that music can save lives because it helped save mine. I found the thing that helped me get up every morning, and whilst I'm happy to say I feel like I have other reasons to get out of bed now too, country music is still one of the brightest lights in my life. It has given me purpose. At the same time though, country music has broken my heart. Women are shockingly underrepresented in the industry, and those who are allowed in are almost exclusively white. Dr. Jada Watson did a report on year-end country radio airplay between the years 2010 and 2019, meaning the top 150 songs played on country radio in the US each year. And she found that 81.6% were by men, whilst only 12.4% of the songs were by women. The rest were by groups with men and women, and all of these people were cisgender. In these 10 years, only 24 out of the 940 songs on the charts were by people of color. That's 2.6%. And only one of these 940 songs was by a woman of color, 0.11%, that tiny sliver that you probably can't even see on the pie chart by Mickey Guyton, the only black woman signed to a major country music record label. So I didn't know this when I got into country music. I mean, I was a young, blandly privileged white teenager. I started listening because of Taylor Swift. I saw myself in her. She was singing about the woes of high school whilst I was living them. Her music was, and still may I say very much is, my happy place. I then listened to other successful women in country like Carrie Underwood, Miranda Lambert, Casey Musgraves, Cam, The Chicks, Dolly Parton. So much girl power, and seeing strong, talented women was really inspiring to me. And when I realized that women were so underrepresented in the industry, I was so angry and upset, and made it a mission to change that. Sexism is, of course, real. All of these women, though, are white. It was only during my undergraduate degree, where I did a minor in gender studies, that I finally understood the role I had played in maintaining whiteness in country music, as well as in other spaces I'd been a part of. I was complicit. Yes, white women are underrepresented, that is true, but black women and women of color are not even included due to experiencing sexism and racism, amongst other things as well. Intersectionality is so important. We have to talk about folks who experience multiple overlapping layers of oppression, including racism, sexism, transphobia, homophobia, and ableism. Women are not a monolith, and if we try to universalize an experience, only the most privileged will be heard. One of the main reasons that country music was able to make me feel less alone was because I am white. I am here right now talking about country music because I saw myself in country music. And I would. Country music is known as the music of white America, and there is a whole cultural and political history and background of the industry to explain and analyze this. In short though, The foundations of country music are intrinsically linked to African American musical styles, such as blues rhythms and phrasing, and even the banjo originates from Western Africa. Many of the original country artists, like Hank Williams and the Carter family, were actually trained by Black musicians, Rufus T-Top Payne and Leslie Riddle respectively, and they still never received the recognition they deserve. In the 1920s, white record executives worked to commercialize the music and split the genre in two: race music for Black people and hillbilly music, which would become country music, was for and by white people. So the country music industry was literally created to be a system of anti-Blackness, yet country music is Black music. And if you had any doubt that country music is still deeply influenced by Black musical styles, just listen to some of the genre's most successful artists right now. Florida Georgia Line, Thomas Rhett, Sam Hunt, they all use hip-hop and R&B elements. Yet when a Black man, Lil Nas X for example, released his song Old Town Road, I'm sure you've heard it, a country trap song, Billboard took it off their Hot Country Songs charts for not embracing enough elements of today's country music. Black music is only allowed if it comes from white lips. Whilst the country music industry is a system of racism, country music is not. Just because Mickey Guyton is the only Black woman signed to a major country music label, it does not mean that she is the only Black woman or woman of color making incredible country music. To name just a few: Reese Palmer, Amethyst Kia, Brittany Spencer, Adia Victoria, Tierra, Yola, Lizzie No, Miko Marks, Chapel Hart, Crystal Shawanda, Rhiannon Giddens. I mean, the list is endless. I honestly could go on and on about this, and I have, but I hope this shows you three things. Firstly, how desperately country music needs to change. Secondly, how much I care about this genre. And finally, how I care so much I want to change it. It is very important to say I will and can never be an authority or leading voice in this conversation as a white person. However, this is a white problem. The race issue in country music and in most industries is whiteness. So it is my responsibility as a white person who loves country music and continuously benefits from it to do the work. I'm not trying to center whiteness, but I am trying to highlight that it is white people like me who must change and make change. Charlene Oliver, the founder and executive director of the Equity Alliance, said in a panel on this very discussion, Black people didn't start racism and we're not going to be the ones to solve it. So what am I going to do to play my small part in this? 2.5 years ago, I was approached to be the country music presenter for a new radio show on Wizard Radio, the UK's biggest online teen radio station. I said in my first meeting with the CEO, this is going to have to be a country radio show that works to disrupt the industry, that talks about the issues that cannot be ignored any longer, that creates discomfort for the audience and myself, a feminist space where we discuss politics, racism, LGBTQ+ rights, Indigenous rights, and social justice as I myself keep working towards allyship. The CEO said, I want us to be the ones who are looked at funny at events because we're trying to stir the pot too much. So do it. And I'm very thankful for that. I've gone from crying in my room as a depressed teenager, getting by on country music, to talking about it to 50,000 young people, our future, every week. I've interviewed amazing artists like Jimmy Allen, Avenue Beat, Carly Pierce, and when I interview people, I always ask them, what can we all do to make country a better place for women, LGBTQ+ folks, and people of color? I've had a range of answers, but I always love the reaction I get when I ask that question from the artists and their publicists and management, and the sheer shock. People aren't used to being held accountable to complicity. I know, because it used to be me. I've attended industry events like press conferences and label showcases, and I have conversations with people, like I am right now talking to you about these issues that are so important, and I don't know if I'll ever get bored of it. I'm also doing my master's degree here at LSE in gender studies and have been focusing on gender, race, and class in country music, and I'm planning on writing my dissertation on white feminist movements in the genre and how we must approach advocacy through an intersectional lens. But honestly, lots of the time I think, what's the point? It is hard to compartmentalize and detach myself from the bad sometimes. Country music has broken my heart and made me cry my eyes out, but I guess there isn't anything much more country than that. I had a little breakup with country in the summer of last year. I was just so completely and utterly demoralized by the response and violent white silence of country artists and the industry to the Black Lives Matter movement. I felt so ashamed to love something that is so harmful and is a system of anti-Blackness in itself, the music of white America. I kept thinking, why do I want to be a part of this? How can I when it keeps letting so many people down? Is this just a lost cause? Thinking about all of these stories and truth that we aren't hearing because the industry won't just not let them in the door. They didn't even build a door, just a solid white wall. We are so lacking because of it. The incredible Mickey Guyton, who I talked about earlier, debuted a song last year in February at the Country Radio Seminar to a room full of almost all white and mainly male radio executives. It's called What Are You Going to Tell Her? And is a song to people in positions of power, basically saying, how do you live with yourself for allowing continued oppressions when it even harms your daughters? Here are some of my favorite lines from the song. She sings, do you let her think the deck's not stacked and gay or straight or white or black? You just dream and anything can happen. What are you going to tell her when she's wrong? I always come back to the song when I'm struggling with country, not because it's a happy, cheerful song, but to hear Mickey's voice and her words. She has experienced so much hatred for being a Black woman in country music, but she keeps trying to make it a better place. This song is the soundtrack to loving country music so much you want to change it. And if I call it quits, if I don't fight for the next generation of country artists and fans, then what am I going to tell them? That I didn't use my unearned privilege to fight for them? So I keep waking up and choosing country music. Not that a 23-year-old white girl from London, England can destroy the white patriarchy of country music, but who am I to not give it my best shot? And this is not a good white person story. I am not special. I will always still have so much more work to do, but I have this platform on my radio show at LSE here right now to play my small part to make country a better place and to speak up against the oppressive systems that are taking the truth out of country music. Because country helped me heal, so the least I can do is try and heal it, because I love it so much. So I'm not telling you that you have to dedicate your life to country music. Feel free, I'm not going to stop you. But what I'm trying to say is letting your passions guide you might be the best way to create tangible social change, whatever that may be. Nothing is too bizarre, take it from me. Maybe it's football, you just love it. And watching your team walk onto the pitch at the beginning of a match makes you feel an unbeatable unity that literally rocks you. Or it could be academia. Your brain craves to learn, and for that moment where something just makes sense and the walls around you collapse and the world gets bigger. Or maybe it's gaming and the adrenaline and camaraderie you feel while playing is unmatched. So in our last few moments, I want to give you a quick second to think about what it is that makes you happiest, your passion. Just take a moment to think about the things you love. So all industries have major systemic problems. Football has them, academia for sure has them, so does gaming, and I can guarantee whatever you just thought of also has issues. It's down to the power dynamics in our societies that allow people to benefit from others' oppression. It might sound silly to think about our hobbies and passions, but discrimination is rampant in all spheres of our societies. They've been ignored for too long, and silence is complicity. But who better to fix these industries than the people who live and breathe for them and what they produce? That's us, me and you, and it is going to be uncomfortable to be confronted with the hard, cold, deeply troubling and devastating truths that plague your happy place. It is heartbreaking and it hurts to acknowledge our complicity in it. But not only do I want to tell you that it is the responsibility that comes with unearned privilege, but embracing that discomfort will be one of the best things to ever happen to you. So what are we going to do about it? What are we going to tell her? I don't think you should lose the love you have for your passions because of the issues. I want you to use that love, the energy it gives you to make change. Momentum isn't created, it comes from somewhere. Use that momentum that pulls you out of bed in the morning to make a difference, to make it easier for other people to get out of bed in the morning, to make your happy place a happier place. Make the thing you love better because you loved it. It is the love that I found in country music as a depressed young girl that empowered me to pursue it as a career. And it is that same love and passion that pulls me out of bed to try and make my small, super niche piece of the world better. It's going to be a long journey, but it will always be worth it. So I could end with so many different quotes about change and growth and passion, but of course I will end with a country song. Maren Morris sings, "When lines of tomorrow are drawn, can I live with the side that I chose to be on? Will we sit on our hands, do nothing about it, or will we leave this world better than we found it?" Thanks, y'all.